In 3 weeks, I'm planning to go partially off-grid, which is a big step, um, because I think that humanity in the Western world, as we live now, as everybody understands how you live, you get a job, you get somewhere to live, you have kids, you do all these things. I think that that's kind of like slavery, and it's taken me nearly 40 years to figure that out. So while I'm young enough to be able to do it, while I'm young enough to be able to adapt and not freak out about things, I've decided to go and live in a bell tent. For a year or two, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to give it a good long shot and, do my very best to live a different lifestyle. Now, while I'm living in a tent, for the first part of that, I won't be fully off-grid. I'll have access to mains electricity, I'll have access to running water, albeit, filling up a water carrier every couple of days. I'll have access to delivered gas, and I'll have access to showers and loos attached to a campsite that I know where the owner is pretty cool with me living off-grid. Along with people that you've seen on other videos who've managed to make it work for 18 months now. And their lifestyle seems pretty good. I reckon I can get away with working 16 hours a week, maybe doing a few odd jobs to make a little bit of extra money, and learning to live with less stuff. Obviously there are considerations. I've got a child, I want to make time that I can be able to see that my child as often as I want to, or as often as I can, because she doesn't live with me, but she's getting towards the age where she could start making a choice, and I would be providing an alternative to the way that everybody else lives. So there's that. I don't want to spend 50 hours a week working myself into a frazzle, trying so hard to do all this. I want to live my life, and it was always one of my goals, or to not live like everybody else, to do things that were interesting, and kind of as unique as I can possibly manage. And for the last 5 years I've thought about living off-grid completely, providing my own electricity, providing my own food, water, sorting all that out so I don't have to rely on anybody else. And I think I've got a big problem with absolutely relying on other people that I don't know. I'm quite okay to rely on family and friends, but that's a very short list, so the idea is that I'll make those systems doable for a small number of people. So, and that'll give me more time to work on media and stuff like that, and all the things that I want to do. So expect a higher output, perhaps, unfortunately, a lot like this, where it's short videos with no intro, no outro, and stuff like that, that really, don't have a lot of editing in. So you'll see more of this. I'll show you the systems that I've set up. I've already got like most of solar working, thanks to Chipco, who's inspired me no end. I've got my bell tent now. You've probably seen some of the photos up of it on the web. I need a wood burning stove because where I'm moving to there's an abundance of wood. Few things that I need. So I'm taking like a couple of months worth of pay. So, about £2,500 to set that up. Obviously I've got to live in the build up to it from some of that, but I reckon, it's about £1,500 to get you set up and buy you a little bit of slack time so that you can go and find another job. But I'll report on it as often as I can. I'm going to try and produce a lot of these little video blog videos and let you know how it's going. Perhaps a video blog of what I'm taking, and some video blogs of once I've actually moved in. So stay tuned. I think it will be quite interesting. It will be interesting to me because nobody ever does. I'm going to live off-grid and I've got no cash. So, we'll try that, and hopefully, some of you will find it interesting, and maybe even some of you will be inspired to try the same sort of thing. So keep tuned. This is more an explanation of my last post on the Rangers blog. So go along to www.r4nger5.com and check out what's actually happening, and I'll be updating that as often as possible. Take care, and hopefully we'll do some interesting stuff.